This is the story of the wildest and most terrifying trip of my life, the one that still haunts me 9 years later. Back in 2016, me and my little brother had just moved from Texas to California. One day, desperate to catch a buzz, I walked into a smoke shop. The guy told me he didn't have synthetic weed, but he had something similar to cannabis. It was Salvia divinorum. He offered regular or 20 times strength. Of course, not knowing what I was getting into, I chose 20 times. That night in the backyard, I packed half the bag into a bowl and ripped the biggest hit I could. The moment I exhaled, everything changed. My body went almost completely paralyzed. Reality turned cartoonish like The Simpsons. Then my vision split into what I can only describe as the floorboards of life. Everything, the fence, the ground, even my own body, divided into strips that bent upward and crashed back down like giant planks. Behind it all, something revealed itself. A massive blue demon-like figure controlling the collapsing world. Each crash felt like reality itself shattering, and I was just a tiny insect about to be crushed. Pure terror shot adrenaline through me, breaking the paralysis, and I tried to run, but my body wasn't working right. I was bent forward like a broken puppet, stumbling until I slammed face first into the fence. And then, suddenly, I was back in the chair, bowl in my hand, like nothing happened. Stunned, I ran inside to tell my brother. But as soon as I entered the living room, the nightmare started again. On TV, an actor crawled under a house with a flashlight. And in real life, he crawled right into our living room through the wall. Cobwebs, knife in his hand, perfectly synced with the TV. I screamed in pure horror, and boom! Back in the chair again. This loop repeated. A police helicopter on the TV became a real one above the house, shaking the walls until the living room cracked apart like an egg. Officers rope dropped into the room both in real life and on the TV at the same time. Every time the fear reached its peak, everything reset. And I was back in the chair. Finally, my brother rushed outside and found me crying, asking him over and over, "Is this the real one? Is this the real one?" He hugged me and said I was safe. That hug broke the cycle. It's been 9 years since that night. I never touched salvia again. And to this day, I'm grateful to wake up in a normal, safe reality. Stay safe out there. This is the story of the trip that made me quit psychedelics, quit cannabis, and change my life forever. A few years ago, I was deep into the California cannabis industry, living comfortably, tripping LSD every couple weeks. One night, after a long, peaceful LSD trip, I remembered a bag of DMT I'd received months before. I'd been afraid of it, but now I thought, why not? Let's see what it does. I wasn't careful. I accidentally packed nearly 8 times the normal breakthrough dose into my smoking device. I knew I messed up, but it was too late to undo it. I took one massive pull, holding it in as long as I could. Immediately, reality ripped apart. My soul shot out of my body like it was being yanked by an invisible rope. My room disappeared. I was suspended in outer space with stars exploding in front of me like the Big Bang, neon grids forming infinite wormholes, and I was everywhere at once, omnipresent, watching reality itself fold into geometric tunnels. I couldn't see my bedroom. My physical body started flailing, knocking things over. I was screaming, "Oh no, I'm losing it! I'm losing it!" over and over. Luckily, my girlfriend woke up and ran to me. She held me, whispering, "You're gonna make it, Brady. Just breathe." Then came the jester. A multi-faced, cube-shaped figure appeared, spinning and exploding into confetti. My head felt like it was about to explode with flashing alarms. I was literally spaghettified, traveling through wormholes inside toruses, seeing every angle of reality at once. Finally, I snapped back into my body. My legs were wobbly. I crawled across the room, still tripping hard. The room kept folding in and out of space, but I managed to cling to my girlfriend for support. Slowly, reality stabilized. I was back, but everything had changed. After that night, I quit tripping. I quit cannabis. I walked away from the industry I'd built a career in. My life shifted completely. I sold all my glass, flushed my psychedelics, and focused on a simple life. That trip taught me one thing. Sometimes the hardest experiences are the ones that wake you up. The time I took acid at 14 and thought a barn broke my brain, I was 14, almost 15, when me and my friends found a guy selling LSD tabs for $10 each. We hyped ourselves up for weeks, did some research, and one night scraped together cash to buy 4 tabs each. There were 5 of us, 4 dropping, 1 sober to watch over us. We all took them at midnight so the trip would hit at the same time. First 30 minutes? Nothing. About an hour later, I went to the bathroom and had the most amazing piss of my life. When I washed my hands and looked in the mirror, it hit. My reflection looked hilarious. I started laughing uncontrollably. I was in there for like 20 minutes just staring at myself. About 3 hours in, the trip was rolling. Not insane visuals, but heavy enough. We were playing Fortnite and I got stuck following this tiny tracer dot on the screen. Couldn't stop staring at it. Around 4 hours in, we went for a smoke break. My friend had an abandoned barn in his backyard in our usual spot. On the way there, one of my friends said, "This barn looks fake, like it's from Toy Story." That sentence destroyed me. We got inside, smoked way too much, and I took a massive bong hit. Instantly, my brain turned to mush. I couldn't stop thinking, how can the barn be fake? We're literally in it. I froze. Blank stare. For almost an hour, I repeated the same thing. What do you mean the barn is fake? I don't get it. Finally, we went back inside. Tradition. We always made ramen after smoking. One friend sarcastically asked another, bro, you're eating ramen at 4 a.m.? For some reason, that broke him. He tossed the ramen packet lightly at another friend's face. The one who got hit laughed, but the one who threw it snapped. His words turned into gibberish, just noises. By then, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my friends. Couldn't form sentences. Couldn't even tell if I was real. My brain felt like soup. Thankfully, my sober friend came to the rescue. He took me to an empty bedroom, made the bed, tucked me in. I couldn't take care of myself. I laid there in the dark, begging for the feeling to stop. I started crying, convinced I was dying, or already dead. Falling asleep on acid is nearly impossible, but somehow, after an hour, I passed out. I woke up around 11 a.m. feeling completely off. My body, my mind, my everything. Looking back, we never tested those tabs. Could have been LSD, could have been something else. All I know is that night left a mark I'll never forget. The time I took LSD and met the right side of my brain. At 23:05, I dropped 3/4 of an LSD sugar cube. No idea how strong, but it was super strong. At 1:20, I took the last quarter. At 3 o'clock, another 3/4. I was also smoking weed here and there. By 8:30, the second peak hit. Perfect summer morning in the countryside. Sun on my skin, life buzzing around. I lit a joint and scrolled TikTok. Suddenly, a video about Otto Warmbier came up. The American tourist arrested and tortured in North Korea. The video said, Otto has been arrested for doing something, but I heard it as my own name, in my own language. Panic hit instantly. Sirens in my head. Did I do something? Did I hurt someone? My brain was spinning. I pressed play again. That most of us would never think is even a crime. Relief, but now I was Otto. I felt the courtroom, the accusations, the injustice. Eyes on me like they wanted blood. I forced myself to stop spiraling. I'm a good person with good intentions. I scrolled again. A kitten video popped up. That, plus my inner talk, calmed me down. Curled in bed, I suddenly felt a presence. Almost like God. I saw two beings, and a man and woman, like parents. Reaching for me, as if I was ready to ascend. I wanted to follow, but thought of my family and friends. I wasn't ready to leave. Then I let go. If there's a higher reality, I'm ready. The man turned, touched my arm, and fused with me. It felt divine, and then I realized it wasn't God. It was the right side of my brain. I laughed. Holy crazy, it's you. I saw left and right dapping each other up, then hugging like brothers. Two halves, different, but one. We talked. That's it for today. Do not take drugs, kids.